What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bane from Pixel Arcade. So, while I was checking the video for errors, I've noticed that we said some stupid things that don't make sense. And I'm just like shielding myself with your understanding and with your acceptance. I know that the 25 they didn't pay the game didn't cost them 25 million. They earned 25 million from this heist, but just like if you see any wrongs, like any mistakes, please let us know. We would love to be corrected as long as it's reasonable. And until then, take care, you guys. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Pixel Arcade, the only one source for your stupid entertainment. I'm joined by Neko. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Neko. I'm this guy's best friend. Well, actually, friend.
Yeah,
How are you
he,
doing today?
he can barely keep his posture because he's too excited. In all
Oh yeah,
seriousness,
my brother.
in all seriousness, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. Okay,
Yeah, that's an understatement.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about some Payday stuff because that game is never dead. It never dies to our hearts.
The game never died. We just forgot about it.
So there are a lot of stuff to talk about in Payday. Like, for example, how Simon Vigeland was a god tier musician.
Or weapon balance is another thing that is probably going to be on our shit list.
Also, the Tijuana. Tijuana's gonna be on my personal shit list.
Tijuana's so
Like,
bad.
okay,
It's
we
like
used to hate LSO a lot, but we can say to your audience that Tijuana is way fucking worse.
that's saying something. It's because Alesso was pretty just. I found Alesso to be more just monotonous than bad. I guess the best way of putting it.
I think the way of putting it is not it's not just that it's monotonous, is that it's such a fucking obvious Astro ripoff that you would think that we wouldn't have anything better to do than just nitpick this shit. It's like Connor just taking videos, like taking this shit apart from other heists, but worse. We don't
That
have
is.
professionalism, ladies and gentlemen.
We do not, sadly, my friend.
So, which topic should we start with first?
You know what? Let's start with the positives. Let's start with music. I think that's where all good things will start.
Absolutely agreed. So, any preference you have?
Personally, I'm a huge fan of actually a lot of his rock tracks that Simon's done. A good example would be fucking Mr. Purple. Trouble's Always Inbound. Break the Rules is a great example where he goes out of his comfort zone, and it's really interesting that way.
Yeah, I totally agree because like there are a lot of things that Simon have done, even the Bionic Commando Rearmed and Rearmed 2. But like Payday is the track which is the game which he's known for very thoroughly. But let me say this with a straight face and not gonna try to crack up. Payday in his like maybe in his comfort zone, maybe out of his comfort zone is the best music track he has ever created. Like he has somehow managed to blend even genres he has never tried before and never used before, but he has somehow managed to blend them into a perfect combination.
Well, a good example of that actually would be, I would say a lot of his newer stuff. A good example being, fuck, what is it called? It's not Bone Breaker. It's I would say Code Silver, somewhere where he went to familiar pedigrees and decided to change it instead of going for, I guess, the least resistance.
Yeah, like you could say Celeste resistance, but I feel like there were a high amount of resistance because just people like me who play Payday the Heist a lot, you would be like, oh, this is gonna be like a track that Simon's gonna remaster, just like always. It's gonna be pretty terrible. But in my opinion, and probably Neko's opinion, he hit it out of the park.
I gotta agree. I fucking just fell in love with a lot of it. I actually liked the naming scheme. I thought it was very intelligent to actually use police code and things like that. Something that most people,
No, it
I
was
think
no,
anyway,
no, no,
would
no, no, Neko. I hate to interrupt you, but it's actually the medical. It's actually hospital code.
my bad.
Code Silver for you guys that who are not into medical code, it's code silver mean that there is an armed personnel in the prison, in the hospital.
Somehow we forgot to let this guy in, and now they have guns, and we're panicking.
It, it's
Ah!
like, is it those guys that wear blue gloves? No, they're just want to impersonate us. They're just having some fun.
Totally not. I think the funniest part of that heist in general is the fact that you can get out with practically anything and nothing will spot you. Don't mind me bringing a Vulcan minigun and a literal China Lake grenade launcher. Yeah, this is totally normal.
By the way, Nico, if you don't know, in the No Mercy heist, in actually the Payday heist, if you manage to get the chopper escape, Bane will actually mention that the crew is sick and asking them if they're okay, which is actually the sign that they're actually turning to zombies.
Oh, get the hell out.
No, really, they're actually doing that. If you want, I can actually find a clip.
Fuck yeah. 1 second. I'm gonna go grab a Coke or two.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So, as we were saying, like, there's actually that. So, anything you want to add?
One of the things that I actually really enjoyed about the heists is, yeah, they left in the original Easter egg where the elevator just drops. I thought that was actually a really nice nod to Payday the Heist.
If you think call it an Easter egg, then I'm sorry, you okay. It was not an
Because
Easter. It was not an Easter egg actually. It was like in the original game where you fell down the elevators, corpses start to reanimate.
get the hell out! I didn't know that.
No, the corpse started to reanimate while you left. Body bags actually started to move.
You're like, oh shit, we did something wrong.
And yeah, you could also
Oh.
find a witch in one of the lockers while the lights off.
I think one of the I don't know. I remember just reading about it that Payday 2, not Payday, Payday the Heist got some flack for, well, kind of making the prequel to Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, like it. I don't know. Like it was like people say that it was supposed to be non-canon, but everybody took it as canon, even Payday 2 themselves.
Payday's just like, you know what? We're sticking to our guns. This is just canon now. The reason why Left 4 Dead started was because 4 chucklefucks decided to rob a hospital.
I mean, technically, the game said that it was like costing them $25 million, and then the title picture was like, not like spilling some blood couldn't be the end of the world, could it? This could
But
explain.
back to... Oh, you go, man.
No, please go ahead.
I was going to say, back to the topic of music, I was going to say that I do think Simon Viklund does have a couple outliers that show, I guess the best way of putting it, music that he has kind of done horridly.
Like
I Will Give You My All would be a great example.
in Painted Heist, it was actually tolerable because it was actually a club music. It was like actually a club music on the Diamond Heist, which was playing on which was playing while the CFO was dancing.
I agree, but I think it was, when it comes to music wise, the whole dubstep bit was kind of, to me, a little much.
You mean the remake?
You know, yeah, I'm talking about the remake.
Yeah,
here.
the remake was kind of tolerable actually. Like it's more like nostalgia bait more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Another one that I really don't like is, well, I'm gonna lose flack for this one, but Razormind. I find that most Payday people who Payday 2 in specific who really like it, it's just because of nostalgia. For me, I think there's a lot better tracks that emphasize how Viklund does his stuff.
I think
A good example
Razormine.
would be Lock
Oh,
and
sorry.
Load.
Oh, Lock and Load. Oh, nice.
I'm comparing the two.
I think like Razormine was not just nostalgia bait. I think it was more like how Simon got into a point of high respect. It was like the track Razormine, in my opinion, was like a starting point to show off his success. It's like, hey,
Yeah,
I
I
can
can
pull
dig
off
that.
some I can pull off some nice tracks.
Hey, I actually have skill.
Unlike you guys, I don't pull just like dubs all the time. which is I think a lot of problem now I see with a lot of music tracks nowadays. It's like comparing Deus Ex One's OST to Deus Ex Human Revolution or Mankind Divided, which is compared to normal original OST, the songs are slowed down, which you might find like, yeah, it sounds kind of epic, but it sounds cliched all the time.
It's very bass heavy, and I think that's a problem with most electronic music in general.
Yeah, I agree.
But when it comes to just music, I do usually respect Simon's tracks. To move to the Tijuana heist, I think this is his weakest one in the
No,
entire
no,
of
no,
it.
no, 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 no.
All
This
his
was not the Tijuana wasn't his creation. It was actually by Gustavo.
really, I thought Vicklin was on Tijuana.
No, no, no. It was actually the Gustavo.
Then I have the same problem that I have with fucking most of the newer tracks, like Hell's Island is where I think you should bring the old game composer. But I understand that Simon is working on GTFO and all that fun shit.
Yeah, well, like if you like, yeah, I get that Simon doesn't want to work on Payday anymore, but like you could have asked him. Like you could. I think the problem with that was like Simon wasn't, in my opinion, Simon wasn't given enough creative freedom for this.
I agree. From what I've seen from Payday the Heist to Payday 2, oh god, Payday Two's entire development cycle is a nightmare engine on its own.
Yeah, like you're using a 7-year-old driving engine, and you could even do driving right.
And somehow you fucked up the driving.
The bike is as big as a fucking forklift, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of stupid shit with that, and I'm not even trying to explain what the hell happening.
I'm not even gonna try either.
So,
But oh, you go, man.
no, 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 go ahead.
But one of the big problems I have with Payday is its weapon balance.
Oh yeah, which is a smooth
Uh,
transition. Which is like a lot of things. Like I'm from pre-balance. I don't know if you're Neko.
I was watching around pre-balance, but I joined right after the one down death sentence balance
Yeah,
patch.
back then in my days, where one down was just like something that we wish that we had, but we never did. So let me say this: back then, Death Wish was really fucking hard because like enemies were above overkill was bullet spongy. Like
Or
bull.
as they say, hey, you see this Thanatos rifle? Let me take 4 shots from it.
I think bulldozers could tank 10 rounds. I think.
Oh god, if you're unlucky.
Yeah, back then medics were not a thing, but thank God, because that would just make things even more annoying.
Insert screaming cat girls because oh my god, I one of the things that I actually wanted more from Payday 2's weapon balance is I found that there was a lot of reliability in both the crossbows and seems to be implementing new weapons, except for the newest ones anyway. It
Yeah,
seems like you either get a game breaking weapon or you get a very mediocre weapon. There is no in between.
I think it was like you either get a game breaking weapon or a really terrible weapon. Like I didn't see any mediocres.
I would say the new M60 is a decent example of a mediocre weapon. It isn't great, but it has its own use in a niche.
Yeah, it's not. If you can make the buzz saw as fast as it can go, why not make the M60 like that? Because isn't the M60 like a really fast firing machine gun?
No, it is not actually. The
How come?
M60 had the problem of the M60 was nicknamed the pig because
Yeah,
it
because it
was
was eating a
amazing when it
lot and it
worked.
was fucking up really a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm being a
So what
jackass.
happened here? I'm just gonna make sure I'm gonna be right. The MG42 or the buzzsaw fire rate actually was trying to mimic its real life fire rate.
Yeah,
Two,
somebody's having a
two.
stroke.
I'm just half awake.
Yeah, I noticed. So I'm also too. Yay! Half a break, brothers. But like, I think the biggest weapon that I see full potential was the G36.
The G36C.
Yeah, because it's like I feel like yeah, it's ammo conservative, but there are if you could add the B team stock for the M14, then you could have added something for JP36, which is one of the most reliable meta guns back in the day.
I think the problem with the G36 was the fact that it was going up against the M car, and the problem between the M car and the G36 at the time, anyway, was the fact that the M car and the G36 felt the same use. If you're using the G36, a lot of people would say, "Why aren't you just using an M car?" And people who are using an M car were just asked the same question. So there were both two guns in the same boat. I guess the best way of putting it.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing was that while MCAR messed up in that category, even though it should have been an actually respectable gun, just like in Payday the Heist, I feel like JP36 was a gun that actually kind of overseeped, overtaken MCAR in some regards.
I agree, but I also think that the GP36 also had just worse weapon attachments. We could look at the classic site as a great example.
Oh yeah, don't even mention that. But
It is something that well needs to be said. Like if we look at the Amcar versus it, the Amcar just is. You can turn that gun literally into a pocket LMG. You don't want to, but you can.
yeah, like technically that was a problem. The biggest problem I see with JP36 was that there were like if you wanted to make the weapon viable, not in that context. I mean like effective in the nowadays combat. I would think that if you didn't have some DLCs, it couldn't like it could compete in the same way that a DLC version of a JP36 would.
I can agree with that. Because of the fact that there wasn't that many, I guess, attachments for it, that you can run a DLC-less build of the GP36 and you would have pretty much a decent all-around gun. It was like the AUG, if I may say so myself,
Yeah, the
or the
special service
UAR.
weapon.
It's just a good general all-around weapon.
But the problem with UAR was that it's a beautiful weapon, but like there were like speed pull was locked behind it. So if you didn't have some skills, you were gonna take a 3 second reload, and that could have been something really annoying.
Well, don't forget the speed pull mag exists, and
Yeah, speed pull.
last time,
I mentioned it. Speed pull is a DLC thing.
true enough.
Like contractor compensator, competitors compensator, the the professional's choice, the what was it, Seymour speculator, the
Basically half the sites in the game.
now pretty much half the gun, like 90% of the guns and 65% of the modifications are tied behind DLC, with the exception to Judge and the Golden AK, which I want to lead to something else, if you are okay with it.
And I think the worst part is I think the worst part about the weapon balance is I think weapons that got hit the hardest, in my opinions, are shotguns and special weapons. For special weapons, we had weapons for the longest time, like the flamethrower and minigun, that were I think they were meant as joke weapons, but still, they were really, really bad. But then we had weapons like the light crossbow and the heavy crossbow, which were instant one down weapons like that.
Yeah.
And oh, what did you want to say?
No. I was just gonna say yeah.
But and shotguns kind of had the same fate. Yeah, we had the Mosconi and the Jocelyn, but if you wanted to make, let's say, the Sega 12 a reliable gun, you needed so many fucking DLCs just to get the damn thing well for a dodge build. And there was a lot of shotguns that were locked. I'm gonna use the example of grenade rounds. Fuck,
or
who
shoe
remembers
suppress.
Street Sweeper grenade rounds? It's
Oh
still
yeah,
pretty good now.
oh yeah, like that was that was used to be a good old meta for if you put a suppressor on it with an HE rounds, you could have just like taken two shields no problem. No aim, no brain, the shotgun main. It used to be is such an old effective method that it was like that's why like a lot of new things were made for that. So I gotta ask,
Yo,
um, how do you think about M1014 with the HE rounds?
the M10 oh my god. That with Berserker and oh my that is hilariously fun because you make your ammo back in just a second.
Yeah,
You basically become a running around madman with a shotgun. My friend actually introduced me into that build. It's super good.
yeah, it's really beautiful because like there are a lot of there are M1014s which you put an HE round suppressor and then you got a normal stock. This becomes like really effective because even if you don't have to even if they don't want to add a sight into it, it's like you can just like generally fire in a general direction and it'll fuck shit up.
It's like an LMG. I have X amount of rounds and I fire in that general direction and things die.
Yeah, but the biggest problem I see is if you're playing in a higher difficulty, you're not gonna have any like help with the ammo unless you get an ammo bag.
Mm-hmm.
And also the shields and enemies become more resilient to your explosives.
I think when it comes to weapon balance, I think the weapons that got the best were snipers. The minute snipers came out, they became, I think, in my opinion, at least, very meta, very fast.
Yeah, the shield capabilities, right?
I'm sorry, sees Captain Winters. Oh, you have shields. Sees Grace, starts to foam at the mouth, has it aced. Well, we don't have to worry about shields anymore.
I was thinking more like, oh, like Captain Winters appears, Heister. Also, you have Chosen Death.
I have chosen death.
It's like there are a lot of things we can nitpick. By the way, people like how Tijuana is really shit, and I want to take a stab at it if that's fine by you, Neko.
Oh, go ahead.
The heist was incredibly lazily created. Overkill, if you're watching this, please, please, next time, give it some effort. You guys are not trying anymore, but like, still, dude, like the
I would just like fake it.
it's more like it didn't even feel like we're doing this heist to break out someone off. It's more like we're doing this as a prank. Like going to the middle of the police station, finding some gasoline, burning the evidence, and then just like preventing the police from doing it. Like I mean, these guys would have been suspicious that there's a guy whom is arrested, and then suddenly the Payday gang, a notorious criminal group, came in and burned the evidence tied to that crime. Wouldn't they keep that guy away and put him as a natural, like put him as a criminal already?
One thing that you could have done with the Tijuana thing, if you really wanted to do the whole let's break someone out, is ironically enough, I could see them putting their prisoner in a vault because it's the most protectable thing, making it really hard, making it really heavily guarded that way.
Or like make a better
Instead of
system for
having
the
them in this
door.
tiny little room.
I have a better idea. How about you make a better system for the door? It's just like a typical door that they come in and get out. Like it's like they were in a trial. If this was loud, I would think that they would have like as you were trying to open the door, they would have transported him to somewhere safe or get him out.
Yeah, you'd be basically fighting against the clock.
Yeah, like or like how about you ram to the door? You already know where a prisoner is.
Oh, you could use fuck, what are they called? A battering ram.
Oh yeah, pretty
A
much.
battering ram. You could have someone equip it and just.
Yeah, that didn't work.
But yeah, you could just you could just have someone ram down the door.
Or better yet, like why do we have to lockpick the door? Or use explosives? Like there were better ways of entry.
Yeah, you with fire.
Or how about you like throw a flashbang or something?
Mm-hmm. Do like classic breach and clears.
Yeah, or like better, or as a better example, shut the electricity off.
Turn off. Time to turn off the power.
Like these guys would be pretty much like wouldn't be able to see clearly in a dark room, so they would be like fire, like they're like pissing in the wind.
I don't like the fact that you have to burn the evidence. It doesn't feel like something the Payday gang would do. I would see the Payday gang more like stealing the evidence.
But then again, here's the thing: if they
You already did
beat
that.
like, beat burn or beat steal, like they would have still be like, you know, putting Hara like Hara whatever the hell his name is. They would have still made it clear that he's working with them and he will be like backed up. So they wouldn't like that wouldn't scare the Mexican police, which already fights cartels for crying out loud. They would be like
You would
on
just see a
higher alert.
bulldozer inside the room with him.
Yeah, they would have tried their hardest to get him out.
Though I also think that we've kind of already done this heist before. Hoxton breakout.
Yeah, and Hawks and Breakout did it way more effectively.
For me, one of the things that I don't like is the fact that these heists aren't adding enough content for their. It's not enough bang for your buck. I don't need. I shouldn't have to buy another bundle just for the weapons. I think if you're gonna make, I would rather see a more expensive heist DLC than it split up into two different DLC, one of the guns and one of the heist.
Also, 4.99 for a character, that's a ripoff.
Or a free character.
Like, yeah, like you had all this money, and then you're buying for like 4.99 for more characters. We had already more characters than we can count for crying out loud, people. But
I think a good. Oh, you go nuts.
none. Like, I wanted to fucking rip this new heist a new one, dude. It's like,
Go ahead, talk about the sniper hell.
oh no. Like, okay, imagine this, people. You have a sniper on the car park. There are 2 to 3 snipers in the car park, and then 2 to 3 on the sides of the prison, and then 2 to 3 on the other side, and then 2 to 3 on the other side. You're pretty much like the San Martin Bank, pretty much. Like instead of 4 miniguns that you could, blow up and prevent them from doing anything. No. This one it persists and then continues to add fucking snipers, which when they're killed, after a little bit, while you think you're safe to go outside again, they're gonna put the fucking snipers on again. As if you're trying to
There's just
make
more
pot
snipers.
as if you're trying to put hot pockets on your dick.
And the worst part is, it's an unending fucking wave.
Also, you
So
don't
it
get a
makes
good payout. Hold on, you don't get a good payout out of that. Like most heists pay you more than two. Like most heists can give you like around 1.5 or 2 million. Like that's if I remember correctly, that's like one bag of meth you make on Mayhem,
hmm
and you make more money than that. Like if you can hold out for half an hour, which is half of the time that you would spend on Tijuana, that you could get even more money because by the time you will get 20 bags, and 20 bags would mean 20 million or 21 actually.
And don't forget, you also get an achievement on top of that. And honestly, I feel like when it comes to that, the cook-off achievement is a lot more rewarding than the other achievement
Yeah, because
that you get.
yeah, because Tijuana like it's like, hey, we're doing a scavenging hunt. Like, yeah, I can get that. I understand if you guys want to like hey, badges are the thing, but like I would say the same thing like finding the collectibles, like finding the Gundam collectibles. But they're not worth it. I think the meth ingredients are more worth it.
hmm
If you guys want to fight, yeah.
I also think that I don't like how stealth and loud are the same thing. You go through the exact same motion of steps.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll be right back.
When it comes to Payday in general, I find that the hardest thing is that his difficulty curve is a huge problem. Excuse me. You know, we move to the difficulties rather easily. We from normal to very hard, but really, normal should be just called easy in Payday 2. It should go like normal. Normal should be easy, and then overkill I would think would be probably a better definition of normal difficulty, because then at least you're fighting against. Well, one, you're fighting against really hard specials. Two, you're fighting the specials actually have more HP, and four, you actually have to use teamwork. Uh, and then the jump between overkill and mayhem is like going from hard to, let's say, let's say overkill in the older difficulties, where it's just this huge jump. But I will say it is rewarding. But back to Tijuana, I think my big problem with it is just, yeah, it's lackluster. It feels like you're kind of not supposed to be here. There's no reason or rhyme for wanting to do any of it. We gotta break Almir out. Why are we breaking this guy? Because he was the asshole who decided, hey, I'm gonna drive a minivan into the bank. Oh, let's break him out. Let's grab one of the cop cars and try and be escaping. No, we need my big car. Oh, okay, then we'll bring it. Oh no, you're gonna go outside and to sniper hell? Oh, yay.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we would love to continue to tear this game a new one, but we don't have time, sadly.
Oh, you gotta go, my dude?
No, no, no. It's like we just don't have enough time.
True enough.
Yeah. So, guys, I hope that you enjoy this little stupid live stream we made. More will come. I promise you, more will come. Just
More will come. You just
follow
must
the
be patient.
just follow the stupidity, and it shall reward you with our live streams. Until then,
Peace out.
take care.